Well, we have a new envoy, but the big question is this really going to thaw the tension that has come about between these two countries? And, are these tariffs, is this disposition which is being displayed by the American president really a path to prosperity for the Americans? I was watching Fareed Zakaria's podcast the other day, and the last time they decided to impose tariffs on other countries was way back in 1929, and that's exactly when the depression in the United States took place.
You're absolutely right. That set of tariffs led to the Great Depression, which in fact also was a trigger for World War II eventually, because it completely pulled down Germany, and therefore it unveiled a set of political events in Germany, which led to the Nazi Party coming in, and they did what they did. So really, at that point in time, the tariffs were at the core of the matter. If you look at what's really happening between US and India, for that matter, again, is what the ambassador designate is saying versus what the US administration is actually doing, and they don't seem to be in sync. They seem to be completely out of sync. And also, when the ambassador is talking about incredible opportunities, one wonders how those opportunities will really be monetized, because for whom are these opportunities? Is it opportunity for the US, or is it mutual opportunity? And why there is a differentiation in this current post-rule-based order is because for US, what is an opportunity, they will go and take it. So if they are short of goods, they are short of services, they will simply go ahead and take it. And is that the opportunity they're talking about? Or is there an opportunity where there will be a negotiation in terms of equal partners? One of the things that the ambassador also mentioned currently, who's on the panel, is that India will not be sacrificing its strategic independence, and that will continue no matter what. So it'll be quite interesting to see how the US ambassador manages the optics and the actions versus what the US is actually doing. Now, in the post rule-based order that the US has unveiled, what we basically see is that trade agreements are being done in a manner which is lopsided, which is in favor of the US. If you take a look at the EU trade agreement, all goods of US will be allowed in EU at zero tariff, but the goods from EU to Europe or to US will face a 15% tariff. Now, that's not really a fair trade. And the same format is getting repeated across the world between US and other trading partners. And wherever the US thinks that it needs something which it can't get through goods, for example, oil, it's simply going and getting the oil, like what happened with Venezuela. And therefore, it's very unnerving as to what kind of agreement we will be signing in, and if that agreement will ever be held up in either its letter or its spirit, because we already have an agreement. There is a WTO agreement in place where all the signatories are there, and all the actions in terms of trade, including the usurious tariffs that have been put in by US, are actually in violation of the WTO agreement. So what is the point in even having an agreement? I'm really wondering, we have been talking about the BTA, the bilateral trade agreement, the historic partnership, the energy for deal. Well, what is it that we're going to sign, and what does it mean? If it's not going to be upheld and there is no court of law globally where it can be brought up, then what's the point of signing any of this? Now, it's also very ironic to hear the word historic partnership. Well, the US and India did have a historic partnership, especially since 2000 onwards, when the US did put a tremendous amount of effort and energy in bringing up and shoring up its relationship with India. That has been trashed very, very quickly. And we see the US actually going around supporting stolen elections in the border areas of the border countries of India. We are seeing them propping up undemocratic governments. Now, what kind of partnership is that? And therefore, there are a lot of question marks that comes up, that what is it that the US ambassador is really trying to hint at, because none of his words are getting matched with the actions from the US side. From an Indian perspective, clearly we are working towards a plan B. In fact, it's not even the plan B, it's really plan A, where we wanted to have a free trade agreement with most of the world. And we already have an agreement with UK. We are pretty close to having an agreement with EU, with New Zealand, and so on and so forth, including Mexico, which is really the NAFTA area. And at the end of it, what we will really see is that India has got a trade agreement with most of the key economies except the US and China. And it'll be very interesting to see how that pans out. And that's going to mirror what every other major economy is doing, because some of these agreements with US is really a non-agreement, where it's a one-sided agreement. So it's going to be very, very interesting. It's a very challenging scenario that the the US ambassador is going to walk into. And I think all of us will be watching what happens from here onwards.
All right, Gautam, what's